Had a total disaster last night.
Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another dose of metal detecting. I'm back on the silver fields, I'm going to call them, as every time I come out I always get a little bit of silver. Well, most times anyway. I've had, oh god, a dozen or so silver coins from this field, silver brooches, parts of silver watches, a little bit of everything. So always turns up the goodies. Now it's a Saturday morning. I've got about 3 hours detecting. The boys are away to their grands for a few hours, and my other half is in her bed sleeping. She was on night shift last night, so I've got a spare few hours. The weather's a bit overcast, so I'm hoping it doesn't rain. We've just had Storm Agnes, which was the remainder of, I think it was Hurricane Ophelia, that New York and sort of eastern coast of America got. So we got that. It never really came to much. It was a bit windy, a bit rainy, a bit of thunder, lightning, all that kind of stuff. But just a normal day for us guys in Scotland here. Shorts and t-shirt weather. So let's go. I'm out with the trusty Deus 2, trying a few different programs today as well. Always like to try a few different bits and pieces, see how we go. So let's go and find something decent. We'll see you on the first target. Okay, so this is the first one. Right, so I've been messing about with some different custom programs, and I'm just going to run through a few just to see what you think. You think of the sound of them. So this is the first one. So this is based off of General, and I've got it in the PWM. It's a 4-tone program. Oh, well, actually, it would help if you could hear what I was doing. Let's put the speaker on, turn the volume up. Okay, this will be better now, eh? Can you hear that? I hope that's coming through. So it's a 45. It's not a great first target to start with. Now this is a Sensei 4 tones. You hear that? That sounds great. So that's using the high square tones. Park, again using PWM. Deep, HC. Now I'm pretty sure I've got the tone break set up differently for that, that's why it sounds a bit different. Sensei full tones. Now that's giving me a bit more information. There's a bit of an iron tone to that. Relic. Again, it's hardly picking up. I don't know what's going on with that one. This is General, but a 3-tone. PWM, again sounding good. And Fast, which is using pitch, sounding pretty good. A bit squeaky. So I quite like it on. In general, was quite good there. Let's have a look, see what this 45. I'm going to say, ooh, just a little bit of copper alloy, or maybe a thin. Well, we're out in the first spadeful. Get the pinpoint it. Oh, try and keep you in shot. I'm on a different microphone today. Because the other ones are just absolutely garbage. I don't know what is going on with them. Where is this? It was definitely out. What is going on? It must be tiny. It must be really small. Hang on a second. No, it's not in here. Excuse me, Mr. Worm. It is in there. It's right on the surface. So it's probably going to be a little bit of foil or something really sitting there still. Let's bring this up. You can see what I'm doing. Yep, still in there. And here. Right there. That looks like a little bit of lead. It's like a little bag seal. That's target number 1. Yeah, it's a little bag seal. Absolutely brilliant. Now, I'm not even going to try and hazard a guess what that says on it, because the soil here is like clay, and every time I rub it, I just put more. There's definitely some writing on it down at the bottom there. So the best way to deal with these is, rather than putting water on them, is maybe just let them dry out a bit and then give them a little brush. Helps preserve some of the detail on it. So hole number 1, a little bag seal. Fantastic. Let's go and find something else. This one sounds okay. Sounds okay one way. Again, we'll let you have a listen. So it's... I think that's going to be a bit of junk. 82, but it was just jumping up into the 90s now as well. So let's have a quick look just to satisfy my curiosity. I am going to say about a can. Still in there. Now there's a lot of junk in this field. A lot of iron, a lot of slag, a lot of coke. Let's have a look. Sounding a bit ropey now. Let's see if we can find it. So we're here somewhere. We're here somewhere. Right. If this is another bit of iron, then I don't know what's going on. Is it? Nope. There's another huge big chunk of iron. Right. So there we go. I may need to change some of these settings. And the ground's really wet and this soil is mega mineralised. I've always struggled on this particular field, although it's a good field to detect on. There's a lot happening on it. I see there's a smithy down at the bottom, and I think they just tipped everything on it. All the old waste and you name it got chucked in this field. So it's quite a noisy field. I say it's highly mineralised as well. So okay, on to the next, I suppose.
Well, that last target was the last of the footage I got. I had a total disaster last night when I was transferring the files from my phone over to the laptop. I don't know what happened. The computer or the phone decided it was going to freeze, stopped responding, and when I tried to rectify it, the folder became corrupt, and all the videos were lost during the transfer. So that was 7 hours worth of footage, 7 hours worth of detecting, between the Saturday and the Sunday. So it's not the ideal situation at all. Very disappointing because both myself and Andy were involved in it. But I'm not going to let it dishearten me. It's just one of these things. I'm sure it's happened to other people before, so we shall move on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, it's a bit of a different video. I'm going to go over all the finds that we had. See, we had a really good day. We got some amazing little artefacts, a very unusual coin from a very unusual country. We got silver coin, we got a little bit of gold, we both did. So yeah, hopefully you watch it, you enjoy it, and make it, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I can't do anything more about it. I tried everything that I possibly could and knew about computers to try and retrieve the files. There was no backup, there was nothing, nothing in the recycling bins of either device, just totally gone. I did salvage, I think it was about 3 clips before the error occurred, and that was that. So it was very disappointing because we had some amazing footage of the finds coming up, but sadly it wasn't to be. So just before I start looking at the finds and going over everything, I want to give a shout out to the viewers who bought me a coffee from the previous video. So as promised, first up is John Coleman, who is a long time viewer of the channel and has bought me a couple of coffees, so thank you very much, John, it's appreciated. And next we have Detecting Mercia, again comment back and forth on the channel, and you can also check out their YouTube channel just by popping it in the search bar, so that's Detecting Mercia. And finally we have Al Wood's Modelling Mayhem, and again you can check that out on YouTube. I appreciate every single penny that you guys put towards the channel. It will go towards the channel, it doesn't go towards anything else. So quickly moving on from the disaster, I'm going to stay positive. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video and the finds that me and Andy had. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the end of the video.
Okay, so as if by magic we are now in my workshop that I use every day for my work, and I make things out of copper. Now I'm going to go over all the finds. Now we did get obviously a load of other rubbish and junk that I'll, spare you the details of showing you all that. So I will start with my own finds, and then I'll move on to the bits and pieces that Andy has found as well. Now I hope this video, it's not as I explained, I lost all the footage, so I thought I would go over all the finds. It may be useful for people if they're maybe new to metal detecting, or they've maybe found something that they're not quite sure about. There's a couple of unusual finds here that maybe somebody's picked up and they've no idea what it is, so it might be helpful for you. I'm trying to do the best with what I can, so that I can at least give you a video, something to watch as well. So you might find it useful. If you don't find it useful, just switch off. Give me a thumbs down, just whatever suits you. But if you're happy to sit and watch it, I'll try my best and explain it and make it as interesting as I possibly can as well. So I see, obviously we got loads of junk. And now on this Saturday, I got a few coins that, but not much else actually. This in front of you is actually essentially what I got on the Saturday. It was a very poor day on the Saturday. First up, you probably saw I got it's a little bag seal. Now there's not much on it to go by at all. Yeah, these pop up all the time on that particular food. Now we get loads of them up here. This one's quite, normally get a bit of detail on them, so, and you can tell where, like a little bit of ribbon or a bit of, maybe even a bit of wire may have went through that, and that would have been to seal up possibly, some grain. There is a mill that is quite close to the field, so that, may have been you know, grain, or it could even have been a bag of manure, you know, something along those lines. But I'm unable to get any sort of ID of that. I thought there was a letter on it, but there's absolutely nothing. Nothing at all to give you any information on, I'm afraid. But that was the first find of the day. Then over the course of the next couple of hours, I got a few coins. Now, all the coins are generally toasted that come off that field. Now, I've not really attempted to clean this one that much. There's a lot of surface corrosion on it, and if you start picking away at that and trying to clean it, you start to lift off the coat. Sometimes you can maybe get a hint of a bust, but or even a date, just to give you an idea. But this one's, it's just beyond any sort of recognition. It's a penny, and traditionally it's Victoria, Edward VII, George V, and George VI we get off of that. I've never had any, you know, like early Elizabeth stuff off that field, which is not even nothing. Nothing even modern, so it's quite unusual. So that one is a kind of dud. There's nothing on that. Again, that one is worse than the last one. That's a little farthing, I think. Again, absolutely knackered. This one, if I remember, is a, fine to get the right way round. Yeah, I think this one was it's a George V. It does say Georgius on it somewhere. Have I even got it the right way? Yeah, there we go. That's better. That's an Edward, that one. Sorry, that's an Edward. Edwardus V11. So it's an Edward VII half penny. And that'll date, and I'm sure this one is a 1909. Now, you will be pleased to know that I have finally managed to order a new camera and a new microphone. So I'm hoping that improves that. Now, I can't see the date anywhere. Where are we? Where are we? Excuse me, so I can see this. I'm trying to do it under the camera. It's pretty difficult. It's down at the bottom there. Okay, back into shot. There we go. 1909. That's difficult to get because it's quite badly worn. So 1909 on that one. And this is probably the nicest one I got. Quite a nice patina on it. Again, a half penny. And this one is 19... Is that a 13 or a 12? It's either 1913 or 1912. 1912, I think it is. And who do you think that is? Can you guess off the top of your head quickly? There he is. It's George V. Part of me wants to say 1913. And 1 minute look at it, it's 1912, but we won't fall out over a year, will we? So that was that. So that was the coins from the Saturday. So, as I said, the Saturday wasn't very productive at all. I gave up after a few hours. I just wasn't really feeling it, and the finds weren't that great. So I called it a day, and then that was going to be me. But I got a message from Andy to say that he was heading back out, and did I want to head up and meet him? So I duly did. Didn't take much convincing, and it was such a good day. Honestly, I'm absolutely devastated that I've lost all the footage from the Sunday, because it just felt that the finds were coming up great. Andy was finding some great stuff, and I was finding some great stuff as well. You know, nothing mind blowing, but just some little curiosities and and they got a bit of silver, which we'll show you later on, and we both get a bit of gold as well, which we'll show you just shortly. So these two little curiosities came out. Now, it's so difficult when you're out in the field to, you know, there's a lot of muck on them, and it's hard to see, you know, and you're just, you dig it, you have a quick look at it, and then you want to sort of move on. But when you get home, you have a better look at it, you get rid of some of the muck and the grime on it, and this one revealed itself. Now, can you see that? Can you make that out there? So that there's 3 playing cards on that, and you notice the shape of the item. It looks like a club. So there's 3 playing cards on that now, and there's also something on the back, but I cannot get an ID on that at all. Now, I'm assuming it's the company that made this, or made the playing cards, or the game. Now, this isn't very old. I just thought it was quite a cool little find. You know, I don't know what it is exactly. I think it may have been like a pendant. You know, I've seen a few online that are, there's nothing really similar, but it's the same idea. They've got some playing cards or a suit from the cards. So I think, you know, this might have just been like maybe like a good luck charm for somebody that was a gambler or something. But, you know, I'm needing a little bit of help with that one. If you know that symbol or the, you know, the company, I don't know whether this would have had any, you know, would it have been like some sort of colouring on it, you know, some sort of enameling on that. You know, it's just, this is just like a copper or some sort of copper alloy. Come in, I think, it was in the low 60s, if I remember rightly on that one. Actually stay in focus. I'll put some better pictures of these up after each one. You can have a better look at. So that was that one. And this one as well, I thought that was just a blank, it was, you know, just a disc. I actually initially thought it was a coin because of the size of it and the shape and how thick it was, but it took me ages to try and figure out what it said on it. Now, on that side there is writing, but again, I am at a loss as to what it says. But on that side, along the top, it says there's a V, an A, an L, a U, and then an E. Value. And I think this is, again, possibly a token. There's something right in the centre that looks like a crown or a rose or an emblem of some description, and I say there is writing on the back and a circle in the centre, and it might be like an old amusement token, so it may have said no value, so the value there, and it may have said no around this edge. Again, I'll put some examples on the screen just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So probably, again, you know, maybe early 1900s. I don't think it'll be as far back as Victorian, but you never know. Again, a couple of odd little finds that are quite interesting. Doesn't always have to be coins and that. It's nice to put a little bit of social history and find out and do a bit of research to find out what they are. So yeah, I quite like those. Now, this was probably my best find of the weekend, and look at it. How cool is that? Now, I found something very similar to this months and months ago, and myself and a guy who I know who is he's not an expert in coins, but he knows a lot about coins. I put it to him, and I mean, this has got a lot more detail than the one that I found, but there was the hint of this star, and neither of us could work out what it was at all. You know, I thought it was a button. He initially thought a potin, but that wouldn't really work for the area that we're in, so that was quickly ruled out. But this one gave me a lot more to go on. I don't know if anybody knows what it is or anybody's had one. I'll give you a minute to have a look at it. I'll show you the back as well. There's not much on the back. There's a little bit there, if you know what it is. And look at this little notch. It's not a notch, it's like a little lug on it. Now this is a Moroccan phallus coin. Now they are very difficult to date, particularly when there's no detail on the back. Sometimes you get a number written on the back, but this looks really old, but it dates probably between 1672 and 1901, so there's quite a broad date range on it. Now, they were made of bronze, a cast bronze copper. Now, why it's lying in a field? Well, that's actually two now that have been found in that field. I mean, it's Morocco. I get, you know, why there's maybe French, stuff like that. Now, I showed this to someone I know, and he came up with a possible theory that it may have been something to do with the slave trade in Scotland. Whether there's any, you know, anything behind that or not, it's just a long way from home. So yeah, I was really pleased with that. Quite an unusual little coin. See if anybody knows any more about them than that. Yeah, and again, I'll put some examples on the screen, a little sort of chart of different designs and what they are, but they're all very, very similar. Little Star of David there as well in the centre. So I was really pleased with that, just because of how unusual it is. Now I'll quickly move on to the bits and pieces that Andy found. I'll do this one quickly, only because neither of the two of us can actually figure out what this is. It's not particularly heavy. I don't know what that is. You see, we'll try and put some better pictures on it. Is it something electrical, like a connector, or I don't know. Don't know if anybody knows what that is. Put a little comment below, and you can keep us right. So this was probably Andy's best find of the day. Was this little silver love token. He went over to a little bit of the field where it is so irony and junk, and neither of the two of us were particularly confident that he was going to come back with anything. Now, these are not my finds, so I'm not going to clean them up. But this particular one, we've not touched it. This is the way it came out the ground. And you can see it's bent into the sort of S shape. And this was obviously given to a lady who obviously wasn't very keen on the chap that gave her it, and she's chucked it away. So that didn't turn out as planned for the guy. But I've looked at this under the microscope, under the magnifying glass, different lights, and I cannot get any detail at all on it. There's nothing. Now the size of it, I did measure this, and I believe it measured out to be about 21, 22 millimeters in diameter. And I've checked Victoria coins and there's nothing to that size. A shilling I think is a bit bigger than that, and a sixpence is a bit smaller than that. I think a shilling was 23 millimeters diameter and a sixpence is 19 point something, and this is just a bit bigger than it. So going back, I know traditionally these were, was it William the Third? I think it was William the Third. And they did a shilling, I believe. So I'm going to take a stab in the dark as it's a William the Third shilling. So that'll be like late 1690s, possibly early 1700s. So a cracking little thing. Just a shame there's no detail on it at all. Nothing to go on. Normally you get something, the outline of a bust, but I don't even know if that's anybody can see anything. There's nothing. And it's definitely a silver coin. No, nothing at all, but a great little find. So we're delighted with that one. So as I say, we both got some gold. It was a little bit of gold. Kind of clutching at straws, to be honest, if it's gold. But here we go anyway. So technically it is gold, so I'm going to go with it. So we got these little gold gilt buttons. Now, this is the one I found. Now, it's not coming out particularly well on the camera, but if you can see it, now we will put a picture of what this did look like now. I'll give you a few seconds just to look at it, to see if anybody can get an ID from that, if you know your buttons. Okay, so it's an anchor, and it's got a roped rim and a lined background. And now if you look on the left hand side, there's an initial, which is a capital A, or an uppercase A, and on the right hand side there's a uppercase S, so that's AS. Now that was the Anglo-Saxon Petroleum Shipping Company. Now they were founded in 1907, so this would have been an officer's button, and they were basically they transported crude oil and stored oil as well. So that's what that's from. No back on it at all. Now again, why these end up in a field is, it's a bit of a mystery, but back in the day, the farm workers used to buy old military clothing, jackets, trousers, because they were, hard wearing, they were durable, they were warm. They would use them when they were out in the field working. So that's a possible theory as to why that would end up in the field. But a nice little button, and again a little bit of history. I thought it was initials of a person, but when I researched it, that's what came up. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that one. And here is Andy's gold. This is a bit more gold than mine. I reckon Andy won that. He got a bit of silver and a better quality of gold. Now again, you can see that one a bit clearer than the button I found. And again, if anybody knows their buttons, they'll probably know that button just by looking at it. So it's an anchor. Now that means it's navy. The crown on the top. Now I never realised that the crowns actually change depending on the monarch. So this crown was to signify Victoria. And this would not have been an officer's button because it's got a plain rim. So this would have just been, just a general lackey, for want of a better word. Just a seaman, anyway. So again, with it being Victoria, that would put it somewhere between 1837 and 1901. again, an officer's button would have had the rope rim on it as well there. Similar theory, how it ended up in the field. Again, no back on it, probably from a jacket worn by a farm worker. I don't think anybody would have really thrown away an old, something so maybe so important as an old uniform. But a nice little button again. So that's the two of them there. So officers, see the slight difference in size. Officer's button on the left, and a lower rank below. I think it was an NCO. Was it some of the ranks? I don't know what, I can't remember what it stood for, but there was a lot of lower ranks below the officer that would have wore these. This is another one of Andy's finds. It's a lump of lead with a hole through the centre. Now, we both thought it was a weight of some sorts. It could be, I mean, it's hard to date it really. It could be Roman, or it could be that, but I don't think it is as old as that. Going by what comes up in the field. Maybe they use that for rabbit nets. Is it too big, or is it just a weight for is it a spindle whorl? Is it? I don't know. Could be anything. The hole's definitely on purpose. A bit of weight to it. Probably, I don't know, maybe 30 grams or so. Again, a nice little find. If anybody has seen something similar, let us know in the comments below.
Well, that's it. As you can see, we had some fantastic little finds. We had some copper, we had some bronze, we had a bit of silver, and we each had a little bit of gold. So we had an amazing couple of days. It was myself out on the Saturday on my own, and then Andy joined me on the Sunday as well for an extra few hours. So it was about 7 hours all in. That was out detecting as well. So I really enjoyed the little Moroccan coin as well. It's just such a random find to be in a field. Basically, you just wonder how it got there, but I guess that's the joy and the beauty of metal detecting, is the weird and wonderful things that you can discover. If anybody knows how to date that any better, I think it's quite a broad range that those coins were cast. If you can comment below if you're clued up in that kind of thing as well. So yeah, if you do want to get a little shout out on the channel like I did earlier on, there's a link in the description below to buy me a coffee. It only costs a couple of quid, and we'll give you a little shout out whether you've got a YouTube channel or you just want a bit of your name up in the screen there. All the donations are going towards the channel and will only be put towards the channel. Badly needing some new recording equipment as well, so that's the first thing that'll be getting bought. Also, if you do like what you seen, I know it wasn't much of a video, there was no digging or anything, but that's not normally how it happens. If you can maybe consider giving us a subscribe and a little thumbs up, that would be very, very much appreciated. So thank you for sticking around. I know it wasn't a fantastic video, but I appreciate that you have done so. So we will look forward to seeing you again on the next video, whenever it will be, hopefully with some actual digging this time. So thank you once again, and we will see you next time. Take it easy. Cheerio.